Okay, now we can start. Hey, welcome everyone to our very first workshop of case 2. And yeah, today is the 1st of December. Time flies really quickly, huh? It's almost the end of the year. Yeah, we've got a couple more people joining, so let me let them in. But yeah, we can move on to the content of today's workshop. So as you all know, case 2 is all about tackling real-world problems with web development. Omo, could you go to the next slide? Yep, there you go. Okay, case 2. Hopefully you guys remember. It's about we're going to learn about web development and how you can apply web development to tackle a problem of your own choice. But for today's workshop, we're gonna be focusing on like the problem aspect of it. So how to find a problem that you want to solve. And then the next couple of weeks, we will actually jump into coding. So for anyone who's like more interested in the coding aspect, just stay patient for just like one more week before you jump into actual coding. But yeah, just for today, we'll be looking into how to tackle a problem. So Lawrence, you can take it away.
Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? Yeah, so as Eric mentioned, I'll be leading today's workshop, which is, could you go to the next slide? Yeah, so basically how to find and solve a problem effectively and some of the strategies that you would use and perhaps some signs that you should look out for. So yeah, we'll be covering today is finding a strong problem for your project and in your other entrepreneurial pursuits, and then taking that and then bringing that to find out what makes a good solution and some of the characteristics around that. And lastly, we'll be introducing challenge 2 a little bit more earlier this case, just to give you guys more time to work on it and so that you guys could develop these great projects. So firstly, I wanted to highlight this key statistic. So Mo, could you press the next button? Yeah, so it's when we look at why startups fail, the number one reason at 42% is that they had no market need. And this comes because entrepreneurs haven't properly assessed or planned for their pursuit or their journey sufficiently enough. And as a result, many of their dreams are crushed. So in this case, session and case, we encourage you to thoroughly plan and really ensure that your solution and your idea is actually valuable to this world and that it solves a needed problem. So let's watch this video by Kevin Systrom, who is the co-founder of Instagram. And he shares how he identified some problems in the photo sharing industry and how that led to the creation of Instagram.
Finding the solution to the problem is the hardest part. I always thought, like, you're faced with these problems that people have, right? You assume that you know exactly what you're going to tackle, and the hard part is finding that algorithm, right? The hard part is scaling that solution. It turns out, thank you, Mike, that the hard part is actually finding the problem to solve. Solutions actually come pretty easily for the majority of problems. Not for every problem, but for the majority of problems. And in our case, what we did was when we sat down and we were deciding to work on Instagram, what we did was we wrote down the top 5 problems people have with mobile photos. Because we wanted to build a product that solved problems. We didn't want to just build a cool app to like look for a problem that people had. We wanted to do it the other way around. So what we did was we listed out these 5 problems. And I remember the top 3 that we circled. Number 1 was that mobile photos don't look so great, right? Like we've all had that experience. You're seeing the sunset, you take a snapshot, and it looks like, washed out, you can barely see the sun, et cetera. And we were like, that's like the major problem we want to solve. Number two was that uploads on mobile phones take a really long time. So we were like, what could we do around that? And we were like, well, maybe if we start the upload way before you're done even editing the photo's caption. And what if we like size down the photo just to fit perfectly on the screen, but nothing else? And that's like the small little problem and solution that it turns out really delights people because they press done entering their caption, it's already been uploaded, right? The third problem was that we really wanted to allow you to share out to multiple services at once. We felt like, should you have to make the decision of taking a photo with the Facebook app, the Twitter app, so on and so on, or should you just take it in one place and distribute it to many places at once, right? Those top three problems allowed us to really hone in on what solution we wanted to build. And that's really what Instagram became. I also wanted to say that, once you have those top problems that you want to solve, you need to verify that they're actually the ones that people have. And really the way to do that is get your product in front of people very quickly and test that hypothesis. I think too many people wait a long time, and I'm going to talk about this a little later. Too many people wait a long time to see whether or not what they're working on is actually the problem people are having. And the last point is that really you should not be afraid to have simple solutions to simple problems. Like I said early on, I think too many people believe you have to solve things in a really complicated way. And at the end of the day, if you delight people even a little bit with a simple solution, it turns out it goes very far. And that first day when we had like something like 20,000 new users, I was like, clearly there was a need for this that hadn't been done before, and I'm so glad we tackled those simple problems. There's something about like, in the tech community, you always want to feel like you're working on the hardest problem in the world. It turns out that simple problem becomes very hard at scale, and that's what's really exciting.
In a way, like we often, in our entrepreneurship classes, would hear about the big, hairy, audacious goal. Like, what's the huge chunk you're trying to bite off and tackle? And one thing that really struck me was that big, hairy, audacious goal could be bringing that simple solution to something delightful to the masses, and that in itself is a huge challenge.
Yeah, so just to kind of summarize and build off of what Kevin said there, or Mr. Sistro said there, making a simple solution is not always a bad thing, because if you might just be missing like small details just right in front of your eyes, and you don't need to actually feel that you need to tackle this huge problem. But some more things to keep in mind when you're looking for your problem is at your market. And this might be like the clothing industry, or the technology automotive industry, for example, or these different markets, and see what problems are present in there, and different statistics showing that the consumer purchasing or interests. The issues should also be relevant, and it should affect people to a significant level, in that they don't actually have any solutions present. And you could do this, do research and see if people are actually suffering from these issues, such as poverty, or we are living in COVID-19 right now, so perhaps having like some sort of service there would be a relevant issue. Next is if it's feasible or solvable, and it comes with back at that point, you cannot just try to bite off more than you can chew. You have to set your goals to see what you can achieve with your given ability, and you should consider the leadership that you have and the available technologies and resources at your disposal. Perhaps it's regulations within your area or government which impose them. And lastly, if your society actually supports this belief or your idea, and how strongly they can uphold it. You should also consider if it holds originality. So it should be unique and, can be differentiated from your competitors, and also has frequent and intense implications. So how can you find your problem? Firstly, you should go about empathizing. And what this means is really putting yourself in other people's shoes, thinking about how they feel, and a good way to do this is actually, if you can, looking at online quotes, for example, of customer complaints of other products in that market and seeing where they might not be doing so well so that you can build off of that. That's what innovating is. Also, you might, if you can, reach out to people in the world, right? This might be like through email or, as things open up, hopefully we can do this in person. But really, it comes down to being curious and just looking for these signs and then reflecting and drawing out these conclusions. Also, you should just question everything. And when you're doing your research, look for statistics and see what you're really relating back to our session 1 and learning how to learn. Remember how we should always question down to the first principles and really understand what your audience is going for. So now let's go into like the solution part of this session. And I wanted to start by doing like a little Jamboard activity, a little Jamboard interactive activity. And I'll share with you the link here in the chat. It should be editor. Can you guys edit it? Awesome. So basically, we're going to just discuss right now what makes a good solution, and perhaps just add a sticky note detailing, what when you go shopping, let's say, and you're looking for a product, what do you look for? So yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a moment to do that. Like, let's say you're going to Costco, and so there's like a bunch of products on the line that are similar. So how do you choose which one suits you the best, or which one you prefer to buy? Yeah. Yes, yeah. Something useful, yes. Convenient. That was a good one. Yeah, I like that one. And analyzing the benefits is another one. So I guess that comes with some like the features. Yeah, exactly. Marketing, talking about important features. Yes. Yeah. Credible, affordable, environmentally conscious, ethical, pinpoints a specific problem. Yeah, these are all good ideas. Quality, yeah, that's an important one. And these are all like some of the characteristics that you could think about including in your project, or taking into consideration when you're building your website. Make sure that, for example, like you said, perhaps you put quality into your product, or you build something of good use and it's convenient. But so Amo, could you go to the next slide? There is 5 traits which I kind of just put together, and it comes from actually Guy Kawasaki, who is a marketing specialist, and he gives a lot of these talks on how to be successful and empowering strong solutions. And it's actually an acronym called CITED, and I just made it up so that it could be easy to remember, but it's completeness, elegance, completeness, intelligence, timely, elegance, and depth. And so what completeness means is, your solution is not just the product itself, but it also includes services which are necessary for the proper function of this product. And so what I mean by this is that it comes with these services that might be needed for after you sell the product. It comes with things like warranty and add-ons and other features which enhance the product's ability. Next is intelligence, and it relates back to the point of a simple solution. It should be sophisticated in nature, but it should be presented as not intimidating and easy to use and simple in the design interface. So think about that when you're building your website. Try not to make it too difficult for your user to navigate the interface, but rather, well organized and, functional. Next is timely. So this is kind of relating to, how your solution fits into history, and why is your solution necessary now in this point in time rather than in the past? What changes have occurred so that the demand is higher? And does it have long-term potential? Have you analyzed its future journey? And where do you plan on taking it, and if it's possible? Next is elegance, and this is basically the look and feel of your product. Is it pleasing to look at? Is the user interface that you'll design on your website perhaps aesthetic? Does it possess aesthetic principles? Does it function? Right? Does every component work? And lastly, depth. And what I mean by this is that it possesses, sophistication and a rich set of elements or aspects which come together as a unit. So we could go to the next slide. And I'll address this further with an example. So this is actually called home biogas, and it's actually quite an interesting machine. What it does is it actually takes in your food waste and converts it to a biofuel, which you can use for cooking and fertilizer. So firstly, let's analyze why this is a good problem. And as you know, I'm not sure if you guys know actually, but 17% of food produced is actually wasted. That is 1.3 billion tons yearly. And in our future, there's going to be these food shortage problems, as you know, as you might anticipate with the growing population. And we cannot afford to waste. It's also unethical, I would say. So this solution addresses this problem because it actually alleviates 4 tons of food waste from landfills yearly. And so it is a good problem or a good solution to solve a needed problem in this way. In terms of why it's a good solution, it is a complete solution because it's more than just this product actually, but it comes with a 2-year warranty and also shipping to get this product to you. It is intelligent because it actually uses methogen bacteria such as cow waste to do the food waste conversion to biofuel, which is a unique idea and a good use of science and technology to solve a problem. It's timely because people are wasting food in increasing amounts, and also the population is growing. Elegance can be seen. It's a little bit bulky, I would say, but it's compact and has simplified features such as this this cone right here. It's and the outlet. It's designed in a nice way that is pleasing to the eye, and it's unified. And lastly, depth. It's more than just a cooking gas stove, but they also added a fertilizer element. So we can go on to the next. I actually prepared a little worksheet that kind of summarizes what this what I just covered in this workshop, and it could serve as a nice little checklist for you to look at when you're completing your projects and when you're going to be going into your breakout rooms and kind of just researching a little problem and maybe coming up with some ideas of what a solution could be. So if we want to just split people into breakout rooms of 3 to 4 people, and we could just do a little bit of brainstorming for 5 to 10 minutes.
Lawrence, could you explain the what they're supposed to do again? So like just be like brainstorm like a problem for challenge 2. Is that what you wanted?
Right. Well, I just kind of wanted them to practice the skills, but if we wanted to like kind of group it into one, like getting like some preparation done for challenge 2, we could first introduce the case and then kind of make them into groups and then do the practice there. Yeah, I think that would be better. So yeah.
So present challenge 2 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, we can do that. Right. Actually, yeah, Amog, it's yeah, if you go to like the very end of the slides. So just a change in schedule one. We will actually be presenting challenge 2 right now, and then we'll be giving you guys some time to like just think about like a problem that you want to kind of solve for the challenge, because it's part of the challenge itself. So I'm gonna click on that document, and yeah, I guess just follow along with like what I say. So yeah, basically challenge 2. So this is what it looks like, and we'll share the link in the chat as well a bit later. But yeah, basically what it's all about is that you're going to find a problem, as we kind of discussed throughout this entire workshop. Just find like a strong problem that you want to solve, and try to create like a website that helps like tackle that chosen issue. So that's the project description. So it's pretty straightforward. Then we also have some expectations that like, what are we looking for, right? So we have like part 1, so presenting an effective solution to a problem in need. So just think about like doing some research on a particular like market you identified and why it's like necessary to put attention towards it, and think about like all of the the characteristics and also like the 5 traits that Lawrence talked about in this workshop of what a strong solution looks like. So you have depth, intelligence, completeness, empowering ability, and elegance, or the cited acronym. Yeah, we also provide some examples. Actually, there's like another doc. It's called Case 2: A Strong Problem and Solution Guide, to kind of help you with that process. So, and once you get that out of the way, then the second part of the challenge will be actually to develop your website. This is probably what you guys are more excited for, right? To really get your hands on developing a website. So basically the next week and the week after that, we'll be teaching you all of the front skills that you need to actually start creating your own website. So yeah, and we also provided an example, like we have a rubric that we provide up there, a document, and then what Amog is highlighting right here is actually a website that he developed on with a team at a hackathon. So I guess Amog, if you want to like go for, like a walkthrough.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
That'd be
So this website is called Tutor Center. It was developed at a hackathon, and for those you don't know, a hackathon is kind of like a competitive coding event. So it's like similar to this challenge where we decided to tackle a real world issue and make a product out of it. The case in point, a website. So our website was a tutor center. It was basically like a Yelp for tutors. So like we were trying to tackle the problems that like freelance tutors and youth tutors who are starting out didn't have like a platform to advertise themselves and to showcase their skills. So we created a website for those kind of people to do that. So that was our problem, and this is our solution. So we create a website that has like Yelp like features, but for a tutor situation. So like don't worry about like the back end trying to get like every little detail working, like the functionality. Focus on like how it looks. Rather, it's like focus on the static portions, the front end portion, like whatever you see is like what you want to try to achieve. Like that's what we're like looking for, something that can visually represent the solution to your chosen problem.
Yeah, so you saw like how Amog like filtered out like all the tutors, like he wanted like math tutors specifically. You saw like in the drop down right there, and you click like the find button to like actually filter out all of those like tutors. That's not a thing that we like expect you guys to do like as of like by the end of this case. It's not something that we expect you guys to do. This is more like kind of like a backend kind of thing, a JavaScript kind of thing. So yeah, all we're looking for is like kind of a general idea, like just have some like placeholders of like tutors and stuff. They don't have to be like real tutors or anything. Like say if you're making a tutoring website, like we just want to see the general idea of like what you're looking for. You can kind of explain like in words like how the website will like really function. Like you click on this button and it does this. Like you can try to explain that like during your like presentation date, but you don't have to make it work. That's not what we're expecting.
Yeah,
we might teach you that in a later case, but as for this case, all we're worrying about is just the user interface, the looks and feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you want, you can like try to do this feature, but like it's like something like if you want to do in your like if you want to push yourself, you can definitely do that. Same with these animations and everything. So yeah, these are like some of the extra things you can do, but you're not required to do, or we won't teach you. So yeah. Yeah, and like here we said, don't worry about making the features functional, just as long as we can see what you're trying to do.
Yeah, as long as we see that you've put the effort and thought into like, decided and, analyzing the problem, and also like just trying your best to build your website using the languages that we've taught.
Yeah.
You'll be good for success. Yeah.
And yeah, the final part would obviously be, on presentation day, you'll be presenting your website to us. It doesn't have to like a formal presentation with like slides or anything, like what we did for like challenge 1, like don't prepare any slides or anything. All we're just looking for is like you talk a little bit about like what the problem is and like and go for like a walkthrough of your website. So like screen share your website with us, like go through it, like how like a person would like navigate through it, like for the first time, like when they see a website, what things will I click on and stuff like that. That's what you're going to be presenting to us. And yeah, try to like aim for like 3 minutes or less. We might cut you off if you go over that time. And also try to provide you guys like an exemplar of like video of like what we're guys looking for as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We didn't have time to put it on, but we'll update it later on this doc. And yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Like I can actually show you an exemplar of what we're looking for. So basically, like we can what do you call it? Let me actually, yeah, like you know what? Sorry, never mind. We'll put it on. So basically, like what an exemplar that we could like we'll show you guys is the video for Tutor Center that I created, like our group created. So that would be something that like we would want you to be looking for, something like a pitch video, something on the lines of that.
But yeah, it's not like a
Exactly,
really
yeah.
like formal pitch or anything. You're not really like,
Yeah.
oh, like I
Yeah.
want to like like promote my product or anything. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just a walkthrough of like how it works and stuff.
Yeah.
It's nothing to like, yeah. Don't be too intimidated by that. Just let you know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would add on to that, like perhaps explain, like sort of in a pitch-like format, some statistics which may draw in your audience and kind of explain why your product is a good fit for them. And perhaps when you're explaining your website, when you're listing your features, kind of relate that back to cited and the characteristics. And I guess there's many other ways to do it, so I'll leave it up to you and your creativity.
Yeah, I posted the link to the doc, the challenge 2 doc in the chat, so you guys can save it for later. So yeah.
Yeah, so just like some little tips for your venture and your little project is just stay positive and have a resilient mindset. There will be some times where you face these obstacles and you need to overcome them. And so you need to persevere through your challenges. Perhaps sometimes you need to reevaluate, but stay positive and all will be fine. And secondly, set small goals to get to your larger destination. And you've all seen like these SMART goal setting things. And what you're doing there is having these action items which build towards your big goal. And it help you treat it as more manageable and will help you make progress and allow you to see progress. So I guess in this project, set these little deadlines for yourself. Like each week, what do I want to work on? Perhaps, each day have like a little task that you're going to complete. Like day 1, do some research on XYZ markets. And, maybe by the 5th day, design what the website will look like. Such things. And so I wanted to end off with this little perspective from Steve Jobs. And so basically, you have 2 spectrums of the tech and business world, which is the customer experience and the technical product. And so what he's saying here is that you have to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. And that's all for today's presentation. Hope you guys got something out of it. Next time, we'll be jumping into the technical content of HTML and CSS for you to structure and style a website.
Yeah, we'll be looking at the bread and butter of front-end websites. So this is what you'll be using to create the actual technical solution of your problem. So you should probably try to get thinking on a problem by the end of like throughout this week and get the problem finalized and meeting all the like expectations like teachings that Lawrence told you guys about. So try to fit it along those categories and you'll be on your way. So yeah, good luck, guys.
Yeah, feel free to use like some sort of communication platform like Discord or any form of out you know contact so that you guys can share ideas and stay in touch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot
exactly.
to mention for challenge 2. Yeah, it's a group project, so you can work up to teams of 3. So you can work into as of teams of 3 people. You can go solo if you want. You can go as a duo, but yeah, you can work up to teams of 3. So yeah, hopefully that excites you guys. So yeah, hopefully we'll
if
see you guys
you
next. Oh yeah,
yeah, if you enjoyed the groups that you were just in, you could always stick with those. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. That's what that was all about, I guess. But yeah,
or try something new.
hopefully, yeah, we'll see you guys next week then. Hope you guys are excited for coding.